In the rich mountains of Mindanao, the southern part of the Philippines, there dwells several tribes of indigenous people. For hundreds of years, they have protected their lands and culture against foreign colonization. They are the people untarnished by the Islam, Spanish, Japanese, and American influence. They are the first people of the Philippines, the Lumad. Lumad is an umbrella term to describe at most 13 ethnic groups in Mindanao, and these are the Blaan, Bukidnon, Higaonon, Mamanwa, Mandaya, Manobo, Mansaka, Sangir, Subanen, Tagabawa, Tagakaulo, Tasaday, and Tiboli. The Lumads mostly live in hinterlands, lowlands, forests, and coastal areas. They prefer to live a traditional life. Also, the Lumads that are living in southern highlands are Sweden farmers and practice a little bit of trading. Alcadev is an alternative school for the Lumads that was established on July 19, 2004. They offer academic studies, vocational, and technical skills.
My name is John Bandu Anib. I came from Ibato district and I belong to the Ata community, Ata tribe. Samang na hisgutan way back second year ko, ang mga ang nang graduate sa Alcadev is dili jud ginadawat sa mga university. So maka-graduate kag high school, halimbawa maka-graduate kag high school sa Alcadev, dili jud siya murag dawaton, murag tama ba to akong pagkahibalo nga dili siya dawaton kay ang Alcadev wala nakarehistro, wala gitagaan og permit sa DepEd nga magtudlo og magtudlo sa mga bata.
The Philippine Education Department under fire from activists and party list groups for suspending the operations of 55 Lumad schools in the Davao region. Education officials ordered the suspension over accusations by National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon that the schools were teaching what he calls left-leaning ideologies. But the Bayan Muna party list describes that order as unjust and a denial of Lumad children's right to education.
On the early morning of September 1st, 2015, hundreds of men, women, and children of Sitio Hanayan Jatagon were roused from sleep by a band of armed men from the Magahat Bagani paramilitary group. They were then rounded up to witness the brutal execution of their community leaders, Janelle Campos and Belo Cinzo, who each received a bullet in the head. School children and teachers would later discover the gutted body of Emerito Samarca, whose throat had been slashed. That very same day, about 3,000 residents from Hanayan and other neighboring communities evacuated their homes and farms and descended to the gym of the municipality of Lianga, the town center. The Republic Act 8371 of 1997 is an act to recognize, protect, and promote the rights of indigenous cultural communities or indigenous people, creating a National Commission on Indigenous People, establishing implementing mechanisms, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes. This is a law wherein the state shall enforce and create the necessary mechanisms to ensure the observance and guarantee the implementation of the rights of indigenous people, taking into account their customs, traditions, values, beliefs, interests, and systems, as well as take and implement measures to protect their rights to their ancestral territory.
Ganong grabe imong pagpuso kay murag hangtod nga himo na lang kang IPMR patsunon ka kani adto ang mupatay nimo na himo na lang gyud surrender. Ganong inaana ka grabe imong pagpuso para ang tribo dili maumsa.
Sa akong panglantaw sa diha pa ko sa revolusyonaryong kalihukan, daan lunod patay na ko sa revolusyon tungod sa baruganan nga ang tribo kanang giingon ni Eupemia Kulyamat nga giapi, gipihig. Tinuod na siya. Pero ang akong nakita sa revolusyon, kung padayon ko nagpuyog sa revolusyonaryong kalihukan, ang tribo sa tinud-anay sa tibuok Mindanao, ang 18 ka ethnic tribes, dili siya apil sa revolusyonaryong kalihukan. Ngano man, daghay kwarta nga nakita sa revolusyon kadtong instrusyon nga gipanghimo, dili siya mabahinan ang tribo. So mo nang akong gitan-aw nga unsay kabahin nato sa revolusyon, unsay atong gahom nga wala man ta sa bahinay. Buhis na gyud kay wa man koy kahadlok pod nga patyon sa NPA kay ako mang nakita nga isip gikan ko sa revolusyon, nakita nato nga patyon gyud kapag biyaan nimo ang revolusyon. Bisa pa sa pag-ambos sinungdan sa akong paglingkod sa IPMR, mo nang dili ko nila palingkuron, patyo na daan para di makalingkod. Kay kung makalingkod ko daghay mahitabo. So karon 9 pa lang ko kabulan nakita na ang mga project sa KM9 na ay rehabilitation sa
Kalsada.
sa suporta pod sa engineering sa 3rd District Battalion. Tabang pod gyud nila ni tanan. Kay kung way security di pod ko kasaka diha sa KM9.
Despite the problems that the Lumad community have, some organizations are still defending and helping the community. A Swiss volunteer group urges the reopening of Lumad schools. DSWD's one-stop shop team helped Lumads make another attempt in Kapalong. The UP community condemned the unilateral abrogation. These points tell us that some people are still helping the Lumad community, urging us to also help for equality.
In terms of the solution siguro to Lumad Killings, I think what's first important to note is you won't be able to come up with a good solution if you don't know what the problem is really all about. I think it's very important to get a grasp, and not just any grasp, but a very deep grasp about the problem. And you can get that, of course, through reading, through going to your classes if you have classes that discuss these social ills. But more than that, it's really going to the ground and experiencing their struggles, because what you can read from books and articles can be different from what you will experience on the ground, diba? And I think once you get to understand the problem, get a grasp of what it is, that's where you begin to understand that there is no one single universal solution for problems that concern indigenous people such as the Lumad in Mindanao. If we really want to solve that problem, I think we have to go back to pinakauna, our idea, no, kung ano ba talaga ang IP, and how should we respond to issues that concern IPs. I think it all boils down to, kumbaga, educating ourselves kung unsa di ay ang tama na response, no, whenever we encounter issues that concern IPs. Do we other them, or do we look at them as our equals and confer them the same rights that we would to ourselves?
The Lumad community are an important part of our culture and society. as they were the ones who were originally living here. They are significant in preserving our culture before colonial times. They also symbolize or show the life of the people in the Philippines before we were colonized. With this, we should fight for their justice and rights.